Now, homeowners who think they were missold their properties have been unfairly treated and misled by certain housing developers, according to a major investigation out today. Nina's got all the details on this. And when you're stuck in this problem, Nina, it's a real issue, isn't it? It's a nightmare.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands of people across the country were awaiting the results of this investigation, which has just come out in the last half hour. Good morning. Yeah, we're talking about leaseholds. It's an issue we've covered loads on Breakfast over the past few years, and it always generates lots of comments from you at home. A quick reminder of what it is we're talking about here. So if you buy a leasehold property, you own the building, but not the land that it stands on. That land is owned by a freeholder. Once the lease runs out, ownership passes back to them. Now, leaseholders then have to pay ground rent, and sometimes they have to get permission to make changes to the property. Lots of flats are leasehold, but there are 1.4 million leasehold houses in England. It became a popular option for developers, but in recent years, lots of problems cropped up. Some developers sold their freeholds to third parties who then put the ground rents up overnight. And then there are examples of people being landed with big, unexpected charges. It got so bad that now the government is planning to ban leaseholds on new build houses. The big problem, though, is those who are now trapped in those leasehold homes, which they say they were missold. They've been calling for the compensation, and for the Competition and Markets Authority have been investigating. Now, this morning, the CMA released the results of this investigation, and it found serious issues, including evidence of mis-selling and unfair contract terms, and it's set to launch enforcement action. But we're going to speak shortly to George Lusty from the Competition and Markets Authority. He's their Senior Director of Consumer Protection. Good morning to you. But with me also is Katie Kendrick, who bought her new build leasehold home in 2014. Katie, you were saying to me earlier, you bought this with a verbal promise that buying the leasehold would be £3,000. And then what happened?
They completely moved the goalpost, to be honest. I got to 2 years and I wanted to buy my freehold, but before that they'd sold it on, and it was no longer owned by the people that I thought would own it, and it was not a simple process to actually buy the land back that my home was sat on. And I have to correct that actually the freeholder owns the land and everything on it. So right. Actually, I'm not a homeowner. I literally am a tenant.
And for people like you who puts your dreams, your savings into this new home, how does it feel? What does it do to you emotionally and mentally?
It's literally devastated thousands of people. It's literally consumed my life for the last 3 years to fight for this and to get this far. This doesn't just affect me, although it's having a massive impact on people's mental health and well-being. Everybody's lives are on hold. They can't sell. They can't move forward. They can't buy their way out of this mess. So we're really pleased with today's announcement from the CMA, and it's really positive that everything we've been saying is in fact true, and they are listening to us, and we have the evidence. So
Let's bring George in from the CMA. A very good morning to you. We heard there, Katie, recounting dreams being shattered. It's happening up and down the country. Strong words in your report that some were missold, there were unfair contracts. Did you find then deliberate exploitation from these third parties?
So something's gone seriously wrong here. People are being trapped in properties that they can't sell, they can't get a mortgage on, and it's having a devastating impact on people like Katie and others. We've heard from thousands of people across the country that they're in exactly the same situation, and that's why we're announcing we're taking action today. We're going to be pursuing enforcement cases against developers, and we really strongly support the steps being taken by government to change the law as well.
Just to be clear, what does that mean? We're launching direct enforcement action against companies who have broken consumer law. Break that down for us. What will be the implications for them? Because they have potentially deliberately exploited people like Katie.
That's right. So we'll be bringing cases arguing that these businesses have broken consumer law, that these escalating ground rent charges and the mis-selling of homes is illegal. We'll take those cases to court if we need to. We're going to try and attack the behaviour and try and get people's money back where we can.
So would they be prosecuted? What would be the prosecution charges for them?
These are civil cases that we take in the civil courts, but we're going to be arguing that there are unfair terms, and if we can get those struck out, it means that people's money will go back to them, and we'll be arguing that the mis-selling broke consumer law in the civil courts as well.
There is legislation going through Parliament at the moment with the hope of stopping this kind of behaviour in the future when new properties are built. But what about people like Katie with retrospective cases? They'll want compensation.
Well, that's really the focus of our action. We realise that people are trapped in these untenable positions. People should feel safe in their homes, but they're rightly devastated and hugely impacted by what's happened. And so through these cases, we're going to try and sort out part of the historic problem. There's still a really important role that government needs to play for the future as well, and also in looking at other issues like permission fees and service charges too.
Well, George, can you make a crystal clear promise here that people like Katie and thousands of viewers of Breakfast have got in touch with us to say they're in a similar situation? Can you make a cast iron guarantee that they will be compensated?
We need to take these cases to court. We hope to win, and we hope to be able to get people's money back. We're going to do everything we can to sort out this problem. It's having a huge impact. Something's gone really badly wrong. The developers in particular seem to have really failed in their responsibility to treat their customers fairly. OK, let's bring you back in then, Katie. George's answer's there. He's convinced this is robust enough that there won't be future victims. But are you satisfied? Because this is about whether you will get retrospective compensation, isn't it?
I'm really, really happy with all of the work that they've carried out. They have been working hard and they are really listening to us. This is the first step. You know, we don't expect a quick fix. We understand it's going to take time, but the legislative changes that we need, I mean, they promised to ban future leasehold houses in 2017 and we still have not seen that legislation passed. So, you know, I can't stress how important it is that along with the work that the CMA is doing, that the government still proceed with those legislative changes immediately. And anybody affected with leasehold, you know, there is a campaign group called the National Leasehold Campaign that I run that is bringing people together, a united front, because together our voices will be heard, but we have to work together.
You have a word with George, then you tell him what you want to see happen now. What's the next step?
I think George gets it. I think the CMA get it. And, you know, and I just want to thank you for all of your work. And it is the start of a long process. And we're here to help you because we have been missold. And, you know, I am delighted. I really am delighted.
Oh, Katie, you're emotional about this.
I am emotional because we've worked really hard to get to this point.
OK, congratulations. And thank you, George. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
There you go. There is consumer advice available online, and hopefully there won't be more upsetting incidents like this in the future. Well done.
Wishing you all the best of luck in that.
Yeah, good luck,
campaign.
Katie.